Hello! Welcome to Paul Makes Games. My name is Paul and it is midweek, which means it is time for some reflection, and in this case I will be looking at the game I made in week 2, Orbiter, a minimalistic space strategy game. First off, I was really happy with how this game turned out. This was the first time I've ever made a strategy game anywhere close to being as complete as this one. Not only that, but I actually enjoy playing the game. It's my kind of game and I find it fun. I also had feedback from multiple people saying how much they enjoyed playing it, how they spent time completing it and they had fun doing so, which is a great thing to hear as a game developer. Carrying on with the positivity, let's go into some detail of the things I felt went well over the week and with the game. First off, my aim for the experience was that it would be a simple pick up and play strategy game where it would take a few minutes to get the concepts and you could get into the game straight away. And I think I achieved that. The game mechanics were simple, but together they created the need for strategy and planning that you'd expect from this kind of game. Secondly, I am happy with how the AI turned out. It was a magnitude more complex than Evil Monkeys. It definitely took a lot more thought and effort to implement, but I think it offered a level of difficulty that made the game pretty fun to play. That being said, it was not without its flaws. Sometimes it would leave itself open, it would pull ships at the back of its territory, or it would miss obvious opportunities to attack the player. I could have spent weeks tweaking it and improving it, but considering the time frame, I think it held up pretty well. I did learn a lot though, and hope to bring some of the aspects of it into future games. I also want to quickly point out the music and the sound effects, as I did mention them as an improvement point for myself from week 1. I think the music gave a good feel for the game, and the explosions and lasers made the combat feel a bit more alive. Lastly, I want to mention a personal improvement of my process, as I was able to get a minimal viable product finished earlier in the cycle. By Wednesday, I had a game that I could play with basic AI and user interface, which meant I could see the core mechanics and how they should play, which allowed me to decide what might work and what wouldn't. This allowed me to hone in on the kind of game that I wanted to make. Orbiter is not perfect, and from playing the game as well as getting a lot of great feedback, there are a few things which could have been improved. One of the things I think that was mentioned by pretty much everybody was an improvement to the user interface. There were some great suggestions, but if I had to choose a few, I would say the highest priority improvement would go to moving the ships, how to enable and disable production of ships, and how to know what is all going on around the map. In hindsight, these things are a pretty big design flaw, because when I was designing the UI, I was thinking the player would be fairly zoomed in, which they were with my MVP and when I was testing and there were only a few planets. But playing the game now with the larger maps, as a player you want to be able to see what's happening at all your planets and what is the enemy doing, which with this UI means that you are generally zoomed out most of the time. Except this doesn't suit the UI very well, because the ship production button gets really small, and from clicking from one planet to another would cause you potentially to miss the planet or deselect production or deselect your ships. That's not great when the enemy has just started swarming your borders with ships and you need to react. I've had some great suggestions on how this could be fixed or improved. Some such as right clicking for toggling ship production, increasing collision boxes of the planets or getting the mouse to snap to planets, or using keyboard shortcuts. Other feedback included levels being balanced better, quality of life things like having a way to make ships automatically move from one planet to the other, and how the combat could be tweaked. Lastly, from a workflow point of view, I think this game might have been a bit too big scope for the week. It turned out well, but it was a long week, and really the game could have done with a few more days of just playing and tweaking, which would have made the game better. I think in the future I'm going to experiment with smaller scope, simpler games and concentrate more on core mechanics and see if I can get a more polished game. In summary, Orbiter was a success. I can see myself coming back to it in the future, making improvements and spending time on more levels and features and making it into a fully fledged game. If that would be something that you would be interested in, please let me know. And with that, I have some games to make, so thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.